You're right, everyone, Dancentralz here, and welcome to the first official episode of Dancentralz Topic of the Week. Now, honestly, I know this sounds really cliche, and I know you're probably sitting there thinking, oh, he's just being modest, he's just playing it down, you know, everyone does this, everyone says that. But no, not at all, honestly. I did not expect to be making the first official episode of Dancentralz Topic of the Week. I honestly didn't. If you're sitting there thinking, oh yeah, you would say that, like everyone does, just play it down to make them sound modest. Honestly, no, not at all. I honestly didn't think I would be. I was prepared to not be. I really was. I didn't think people would be that fussed by it. I thought it might slip through the net, especially because I uploaded the pilot episode late at night as well, because I wanted to still upload it on the same day, because I was talking about that date that I was recording that episode, because it was quite important for that episode. So I thought, you know, it'd disappear off people's subscriber feeds and stuff, etc. But lo and behold, people started noticing it, started commenting on it, and, you know, what can I say? Just started being so great about it, saying it was a really good idea. And, you know, my fellow Sunday strollers have been so supportive. I really can't thank them enough as well, for sort of being so supportive of me doing this while Sunday stroll is sort of being looked at and bits and pieces being done about it in the background. So, you know, the idea behind this is also to sort of give you something else to watch, I guess, while we sort out, you know, the season 2 of the Sunday Stroll. But, you know, they've been so supportive, and I can't thank them enough. And same goes for the guys that commented on, you know, the pilot episode of this. And if you haven't seen the pilot episode, please do go and check it out and let me know what you think. It would be much appreciated. Yeah, if you do. And I had people, you know, chatting to me on Facebook and everything, just being so nice about it and saying how much of a cool idea it is and interacting and getting on board with it. So I just want to thank you all so much. I really do. It really means a lot. Now, with regards to this first official episode, you may have noticed that the original jingle that was in the pilot episode has not been used in this episode. Basically, this is quite a hard one for me to approach. And it took me quite a bit of thinking to try and come to a good, kind of make the decision on how best to approach this, I guess. Because it's about someone that was hugely influential in my life throughout my childhood and right up until sort of last month, really. You know, this guy was just an absolute genius, and what he could do with creating music was just absolutely outstanding. It really was. If you've been watching my recent videos, or if you've been following my channel for a while, you may have seen that I've already been paying tributes to him already, both on the piano, and I've sat down and done a bit of a talk about it as well already. But that's about, of course, the amazing James Horner, a film composer who sadly died on the 22nd of June 2015, so obviously this year, whilst flying a plane. Sadly, it crashed, and it was confirmed that he had died. He was the only person on board, but he had indeed died from that. Obviously, it's hit everyone around the world. It hit me especially hard. I didn't really know what to make of it. If I'm totally honest, I didn't really believe it to start with, because there have been things in the past, people try and make out that, you know, certain celebrities have passed away and it's all a hoax and that. So when I first saw it, I actually genuinely thought it was a hoax and that it was someone just being stupid. A bit like when Robin Williams died as well. I thought the same thing initially, but then obviously you do more research, you look at a variety of different sources, and then you eventually realise that it is actually legitimate, and it has actually happened. So I did do a fair amount of grieving, and it's been particularly hard for me, and therefore it's been tough for me to sort of talk about and pay tributes to him, and I wasn't too sure whether I wanted to do an episode of Dancentralz Topic of the Week on him, just because, you know, it's meant to be a series, you know, where I can sort of be positive and laugh and joke and stuff and get you all involved and stuff in a really positive way. And I suppose I can still do that with this, but maybe not 100%. So it was just a little bit. It wasn't that I particularly didn't want to. It wasn't that. It was that I didn't want it to be... I don't know. I didn't want it to be too sort of too much of a low subject sort of thing. So I wasn't too sure, then I was, then I wasn't. I thought, well, no, I'll do it. We'll talk about it because, you know, I'm sure there's a lot of James Horner fans out there, and it's a great opportunity for you guys to get involved and talk about, you know, your favourite scores that he did, and your kind of experiences and, you know, I suppose, dealings with his music and what your favourite scores he did were. You know, I've been listening to James Horner's music for a long time. You know, ever since I was really young, it's just formed a massive part of my childhood. And, you know, if I was ever stressed out, or just needed to zone out for a bit, or needed to relax, he was always the first person I thought of in terms of music to listen to. And that'll always still be the case, but it would just be more emotional because he's no longer with us, and the fact that we won't be able to hear any more new music from him again is a really hard thing for me to come to terms with. But yeah, I mean, this is just an episode to pay tribute, really, to the absolutely legendary genius that was James Horner, and just for you guys to get involved and basically let me know what were your favourite films that he scored, in your opinion. What did you like about him? If you were a fan of his work, why was that? What was the first score you listened to of his, and how did it make you feel? And yeah, just kind of share your experiences with him, really. He scored some of the most amazing, huge blockbuster films ever, as well as some sort of smaller budget films as well. I mean, Titanic, come on, is the most obvious one. You know, you can't really sort of think of James Horner without that coming to mind. Which actually reminds me of another one, A Beautiful Mind, which is, again, a gorgeous score that he did, especially the piano stuff in there as well. Another one for me, a big one, being Bicentennial Man. A huge one for me, both the score being absolutely stunning as well as the film. You know, the sad thing about that film in particular as well is that not only have we lost the composer now of that film, but we've also lost the actor of that film as well, obviously Robin Williams being the main star of that film. So in terms of Bicentennial Man, it's a really massive blow, actually, because you lose the most amazing actor, especially in that film, and also the composer of the music to that film as well. So that's just insanely emotional for me. And then from there, you've got films like Jumanji, amazing, Braveheart, come on, you know. So good. The Amazing Spider-Man, again, absolutely stunning. Avatar, a big one for me. You know, and the fact that he was committed to scoring all of the Avatar sequels as well is just so frustrating because we'll never be able to hear that now. He was due to start it, you know, I believe later on this year, from what James Cameron was saying. And just things like that we'll never get to hear now is just absolutely insane. It's just so horrible. To think of a world now without him in it, and I'm just so incredibly grateful and just feel blessed to have lived in this world alongside him for a little part of my life. You know, to be able to say that I lived on this earth at the same time as him for a while is for me just amazing, really. But I mean, yeah, there's so many other films that he did that I'm so frantically trying to remember. Once Upon a Forest, huge one for me. When I was a kid, I watched that film over and over again, and I listened to the music over and over again as well, and I absolutely love it. It's gorgeous, it really is. There's a film we did also called Balto, I think you pronounce it, which is really nice. Another one he did called Courage Under Fire, another one that's not really too well known, but the hymn from that is absolutely beautiful. So that's really good. Willow he did as well, of course. The Boy in the Striped Pyjamas as well is another great one that he did. The piano in that is it's so pretty. It really is really good. Such a powerful film as well. If you've ever seen the film, you'll know what I'm talking about, and if you haven't, go and watch it 'cause it's very powerful. Yeah, just go and watch it. That's all I would say. But I mean, you know, just so many amazing films that he did. Star Trek 2, Wrath of Khan, Apollo 13, you know, come on. Just absolutely amazing. The Spitfire Grill was another kind of not so well known one that he did, but I actually saw it when I was younger. I've not seen it in a long time, but I remember going into Blockbuster Videos when I was Blockbuster. It didn't have an S on the end. What am I talking about? Blockbuster Video when I was younger, and renting it out and really liking the film, really liking it. And also he did the music to that as well, so it was even more of a bonus for me. The Land Before Time. Oh, The Land Before Time. such a sad, especially the first one, such a sad film. And his music to that just enhances the emotional aspects just through the roof. And then there's another one from that, An American Tail. He wrote the song to that, Somewhere Out There, which I've got a personal tribute of that piece actually up on my channel that I did recently live with a really good friend of mine. We duetted on it. We did a duet of it, and it was quite hard for me to do that, but I got through it and it was all good. So yeah. And then Casper is another big one. I mean, come on, Casper's Lullaby, One Last Wish. Just the beauty that pours out of that is insane. So that's probably a really, really good selection of films he did. Field of Dreams. I keep thinking of them suddenly. Field of Dreams, Kevin Costner. Come on, if you build it, they will come. What a film. What a film, So there's a really, really, really good selection there, guys, of films that he scored. There's obviously so many more out there. And in fact, ones that even I haven't even heard yet, because he did so many. So that's quite an exciting thing for me, because it means I can actually discover more of his music that I haven't personally heard. But in terms of anything brand new, obviously not. So yeah, there's a good selection, and I'm sure I'll stop recording in a bit and I'll end up thinking of a few more that he did that I could have said. But obviously, yeah. Think off the top of my head, it's really difficult, really difficult. So guys, have you heard any of the scores that I've mentioned, any of the soundtracks to those films? Are there any more that I've not mentioned that you could remind me of, or let me know in addition that I haven't mentioned? Are there any particular scores out there that you really enjoy that I've not mentioned and maybe I haven't heard of and I could do with having a listen? And you could maybe send me a link or let me know and I'll go and have a look for it and have a listen. That would be great to rediscover some more, or discover some more of his music. Would be great. So yeah, please do let me know if there's any more scores that you've heard of that I haven't mentioned that I could do with having a listen to, and that would be great. There's some absolutely amazing groups on Facebook that are dedicated to his music, where people are sharing tracks from films that he scored, that I'm actually a part of, and it's so nice as well, because we're talking about how experiences of his music, and we're sharing our favourite scores, and people are commenting on them. I've been very kindly allowed on at least one of them to share my YouTube piano performances of some of his work as well, and people are commenting on them and saying the most lovely things on those as well. So I really appreciate the fact that I've been allowed to do that. So guys, why not join some yourself if you're a massive fan? Talk to people, share your experiences of some of the great things that you regard in some of his scores, and yeah, it's just great to chat to people that are just as much as into his music as you are. And that's about it, really. I know it's been a long episode. Shocks will be killing me right now. You said your episodes were going to be really short. Well, I start with a tribute to James Horner, and I made the decision last minute to do it, and you get me talking about James Horner, I'll be there all day. There's so much to him as a person, as a musician and a film composer, that it does take a while to talk about. And when you're that passionate about something, you do just go on a little bit. But the rest of the episodes, the idea is they're not going to be this long. But this one's just so special to me. And even as a person, he was so humble, down to earth, so grateful for what he had. He's one of these people that was on a power trip and was like, took everything for granted. Oh, look at me and worship me. None of that at all. He was very humble, very, very, very down to earth, and very, very, very nice person. And the concert they did for him in Vienna, where it was there was a show in Vienna that's on YouTube if you have a look for it. I think it's called The World of James Horner, where this orchestra pays tribute to his music and plays loads of stuff from the films that he did. It's brilliant, and to have him in the audience listening to them play his music and just see how grateful he is and how it affects even him, even though he was the one that created it. If it still affected him as well. It's just an absolutely gorgeous show, and they play the whole suite from Titanic as well, and Avatar, and Somewhere Out There's on there as well. It's just absolutely amazing, it really is. So guys, share your experiences and your thoughts on James Horner. Did you look up to him like I did? Do you recognise some of the scores I've spoken about? What do you think of them? Are there any more that I've not mentioned? Because I've mentioned quite a few of them. Are there any more that can be covered? And yeah, what did you think of the way he wrote music? and yeah, let me know, and that'd be great. Other than that, thank you so much again to everyone that's shown support, and I'm looking forward to doing more episodes soon. They won't be this long, don't worry. But yeah, as of episode 1, thank you very much. This is all on a tribute to James Horner. What did you think of him? Let me know, and I'll see you next week for another episode. Cheers, everybody, and I'll see you very soon. Oh, and I've just suddenly remembered a few more, actually, while I'm still outside, which I thought definitely do deserve a mention. Cocoon. What a film. Well, I say films. He'd scored both of them. Cocoon 1 and Cocoon 2. If you've not seen Cocoon, well, it's a classic. They're classic films. They really are absolutely amazing. So obviously the Cocoon films. Deep Impact is another one, which again is just huge for me. I love it. I absolutely love that film. You know, it stars Morgan Freeman. And to have James Horner score in the film and then Morgan Freeman starring in it, hello, you cannot go wrong. So absolutely fantastic film. And also A New World, which is another great film as well, and with an absolutely beautiful score, which again harps back to the score that was sort of done in Bicentennial Man, and even Deep Impact itself. They kind of share very similar sort of musical ideas, very similar instrumentation, which I quite like that. I quite like the fact that, you know, some of James Horner's musical ideas and motifs were used in different films, and you could sort of hear a bit of one film in another. I like that. People have sort of said he recycles old themes a lot, and it's just ridiculous, and you know, he can't come up with new music and stuff. He can, and he did. He was very creative. I just think it was nice to be able to have a tiny bit of overlap, because people that didn't see one film and saw another one at least got to experience that kind of sound, and by overlapping it, there's more of a chance of hearing that kind of sound from him. So I really like that. I know it's a personal opinion. What do you guys think? What are your opinions on that kind of question? But yeah, I thought it was a great idea personally, and not forgetting Legends of the Fall as well that he did. But also just wanted to throw in a few more films that I'd thought of as well in the process. So yeah,